Red lights go on then at the start of this 20-minute race for the Mighty Minis, and the race gets underway. All of the cars going off together with the red sun strips. It's the Super Mighty Minis. The yellow sun strips are the Mighty Minis, but you'll be able to tell which is which because they'll be in completely different packs as the race goes on. Ollie Samways won yesterday's Mighty Mini part of the race by about 18 seconds, so we'll see him come through.
Burnham struggling, I think it was, the yellow car.
Yeah, it was 42 Will Burnham, yeah.
Yes, it was, and I think he must have missed a gear.
He's still there at the back of the pack now, though, isn't he? So hopefully he'll be able to gather speed and make progress up the order. Yeah, we need to watch out for Ollie Samways progressing through the field. Then he started 7th on the partially reversed Mighty Mini grid, but there are the Supers, and it's the Kirkpatrick brothers out in front, as they often have been. Nev ahead of David, but it's been David who's been having the better season. He's led the championship coming into this weekend from Greg Jenkins, Steve Rideout and Nev Kirkpatrick in 4th, but it looks like it's going to be David Kirkpatrick who's going to get the lead as they go into Stowe corner. Down the inside into that corner he goes, ahead of Nev, and then Rideout ahead of the purple car of Greg Jenkins, who was successful at Thruxton in the Super Mighty Minis. He's shuffled to the back of this little pack, though, as they go down to the Vale.
David Kirkpatrick on the inside, Nev Kirkpatrick on the outside. Nev had some overheating issues earlier in the year, which hobbled him for a couple of races, but he's a multiple former champion. There's Jenkins coming out the inside of the purple car of Rideout in the Dayglow Octane Racing machine. Rideout, who prepares numerous cars and also prepares the Ogborn's historic Mini that comes out from time to time. Here's the chase group. Stuart Coombs in the lead in the blue car from Sam Slater in the grey one. Behind him, Ollie Samways, already well into his stride, dropping James Jenkins and Ben Butler in that bright green car that you see in the back. Trevor Peters is behind him, then Ahmed Chakrabarti, and there's two abreast there through the Twiddles towards the Hangar Straight, but the 4 Super Mighties have gone, and it's still Coombs who hangs on, but it looks like Ollie Samways in the black car coming down the outside in the chase group. But this is the Super Mighties. Nev Kirkpatrick on the outside, turns in, David Kirkpatrick behind him, and there is Steve Rideout trying to jostle through on the exit of Stowe corner as they dive down into the Vale, into that tight corner at the end, and Rideout has got back into 2nd place. Nev Kirkpatrick leads. Very, very tight through there. David Kirkpatrick, who's been ahead briefly in this race, is jostled back to the 4th place in that, and Ollie Samways comes through to take the lead of the Mighties from Slater, from Coombs. Behind Coombs is like James Jenkins, and behind James Jenkins in the 32 is Ben Butler in the 43 car. Then there's a gap back to Trevor Peters. Now I can see at the back of that group the yellow car popping out of from behind the green one down there. That is the car that had problems earlier on, Will Burnham, who is hoping to atone for that drama. But look at this. This is the 5-car scrap. I mean, look at that. Got hooked out to the outside, did 32 there, which is James Jenkins. Suddenly he finds himself at the back of the quintet here.
He does indeed. And Sam Slater briefly got himself back ahead of Ollie Samways again, but Samways has retaken the lead. Slater was leading for a good deal of yesterday's race, but mysteriously dropped back down the order towards the end of the race yesterday. Samways, as we said, won by 18 seconds. Yesterday he led the championship coming into yesterday's race, despite having missed the meeting at Cadwell Park 4 weeks ago. Such has been his domination in the previous rounds of the championship, and he kind of picked up where he left off in round 6 of the championship at Thruxton. But it's Slater, I think, that has got back to the front briefly, has he, again, as they come down. They're almost going to be 3 wide here into the Vale. It's going to be Samways, then Slater, then it's the 8 car of Stuart Coombs, who's a very experienced Mighty Mini racer indeed, and then the car in 4th place is the 43 car, the green one of Ben Butler, with James Jenkins at the back of that pack, and the next two are not all that far away. Trevor Peters and Ahmed Sharabani, who was second yesterday. Here comes Sam Slater up the inside into Abbey. He's dived out of the slipstream and turns into Abbey in the lead of the race. These three, with Stuart Coombs just having a little bit of a break all of a sudden over Ben Butler and James Jenkins in 4th and 5th.
Yeah, it's never a dull moment in mighty mini racing, and Stuart Coombs bounces out over the curb. He comes back in. Butler's not quite so far off piste at that point, but the group still led by Slater, who's back ahead of Samways earlier in the lap. So it's 93 Slater, 58 Samways. Stuart Coombs 8 is the blue car. When we get back to them, he's so well in the mix as they draft their way down the Hanger Straight, and then Butler in the green, and then at the back of that group now James Jenkins. But you get the impression, such as the intensity of their scrap, that the next pair may well be able to join them within a couple of laps here.
Yeah, great racing going on here. They're going 3 wide. It's going to be Samways on the inside line. Is he going to get the lead back? He takes quite a bit of the curb there, but it seems to work for him. The 5 back together again. Coombs has done well to still be in 3rd place after that off half a lap ago, ahead of Butler and Jenkins. And Slater this time is going to get a good run off the corner. I thought he was going to go to the left, but he's took right in the toe of Ollie Samways, who's hung close to the pit wall this time than he did on the previous lap. Nevertheless, Slater is going to get alongside him, but he's not going to get ahead of him yet. Side by side through the left-hand curve at Farm, down towards the hairpin at Village. It's going to be Slater on the inside line for that. The 29-year-old estate agent goes through to take the lead in only his 3rd season of car racing, but he runs wide on the exit of the corner, so it's going to be very short-lived indeed. And it's going to be Ollie Samways, who used to race Sport Specials with the 750 Motors Club, who gets it back by the time they arrive at the link.
But
he goes very wide, deep, really wide, over the grass indeed, on the exit of the link. And when they head down the Hanger Straight, who's it going to be? I think it's Samways just about ahead at the moment. Yeah,
but when you sap momentum like that on the grass here, you're going to lose your straight line speed. And look at that, Coombs has jinked through diagonally between Slater and Samways, and the blue car comes round the outside. That's Stuart Coombs right round the outside, 3 abreast through Stoke Corner. Absolutely unbelievable. This top quintet driving superbly. This is certainly the battle of the day.
I tell you what, I was just watching out of our window the battle for the Super Mighty Minis, and the top 4 there covered by only 3/4 of a second as well, so it's hard to know where to look in this race. It's Nevin Kirkpatrick leading from Greg Jenkins, Stephen Rideout and Dave Kirkpatrick in the Super Mighty Minis, but an equally good race in the Mighty Minis here.
I think this bunch could audition for the Red Arrows, because the precision of their moves so far, and I'm touching wood, is quite awesome to behold. Round the outside then, with the 2 wheels over the curb, comes Ollie Samways. There's our leaders. It's Jenkins, who I think last time we looked was sort of somewhere, probably 3rd among that group, who leads the way. Right out up the inside. Nev Kirkpatrick in the silver car there on the outside of Stoke Corner, and David Kirkpatrick taking a tight line. Of course, you can adjust your line a little bit in these minis, which in sort of bigger rear-wheel drive cars, it's much more difficult to do. But little sort of puff of tyre smoke as Jenkins brakes into Vale, turns round through Club Corner and accelerates, and they're reunited.
Yeah, so Greg Jenkins leads. The gap is 36 hundredths of a second at the end of the lap. Best lap of the race still with Nevin Kirkpatrick on 1:25.856. Again, considerably quicker than yesterday's fastest lap for Steve Rideout at 1:26.498. We don't have the lap record information, unfortunately, for the Mighty and Super Mighty Minis. I can't tell you whether these are lap records or not that we're seeing. But I know that the Mighties haven't raced that often on the international layout here at Silverstone. So this is the Mighty Mini battle. It's got Sam Slater ahead of it again, with Samway second and Coombs third. Jenkins now ahead of Ben Butler in fourth, but Sharabani and Burnham, who had that bad start, with them to make it a 7-car lead battle, and it's Samways around the outside of Slater Abbey to retake the lead of the Mighty Mini part of the race. These are about 36 or 37 seconds behind the leading group at the moment, though.
And as you say, the yellow car now is that of Burnham in 42, Will Burnham, as Butler hops out over the curb. And he was way behind that group a couple of laps ago, and he's worked his way up. Trevor Peters has dropped back a little bit in all that. Burnham now absolutely on the tail of this group, and watch to see whether that yellow car, number 42, can advance further. Will Burnham, who was so good at Thruxton earlier in the year, his first win there.
Yep, he's 41 years of age, is Will Burnham. Started Mighty Mini Racing back in 2013, but had a break between, I think, 2014 and 2022. So Steve Rideout, Octane Racing prepared car, as you can see from the side margin there on Rideout's car himself. He is the man behind Octane Racing. But Burnham also running from that stable. This is the leading group of Super Mighty Minis we have on screen now. Greg Jenkins, it is, at the head of the group, and any one of these four is still capable of winning this race outright. There's still just under 9 minutes of the race left to go as well, so a long way to go in this Mighty Mini race. This is the second and final race of the weekend for these cars, as Nev Kirkpatrick now dives around the outside into Stowe Corner to take the lead away from Greg Jenkins. And it's Jenkins second, Rideout third, and Dave Kirkpatrick in fourth. Yes, there's 2 more meetings to go after this. They go to Croft in only 3 weeks' time, and then 4 weeks after that they head to Castle Combe to round out their season. So it's Jenkins now from Kirkpatrick, Nev Kirkpatrick, and then Rideout, and then Dave Kirkpatrick amongst the 4 Super Mighty Minis, which are now nearly 45 seconds clear of the Mighties.
Yes, how much lap are we going to see during the race? We're going to see some, I suspect, but here comes Steve Rideout, popping his nose out of the slipstream from behind Nev Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, I suspect these cars will get everyone bar that sort of leading septet of Mighty Minis. That seemed to be how it worked out yesterday. The leading group of Mighties they didn't quite catch, but they did get the stragglers, as it were, so they might get up to someone like James Bryan or someone like that. Here are the Mighty Minis. There are 7 of them still together. Actually, there's probably 8 of them that are close enough not to be lapped there. Sam Slater it is from Coombs now, isn't it, with Samways having dropped to 3rd here.
Shakabani's up to 4th, then Butler, then Burnham. Behind Burnham it is James Jenkins in the grey car. Little gap back then to James Bryan, who is after them. This is developing really nicely with 7 odd minutes to go. A third of the race still remaining.
Yeah, and yeah, Sharabani, as you mentioned, is the driver that's been making a move. He's up to 4th place now. He took 2nd in yesterday's Mighty Mini race. Hasn't done all of the rounds this season. Was 7th coming into this weekend. I think he'd only done a couple of the 4 meetings that we've had so far. So he has had limited opportunity to build his points haul. And yeah, there's 8 of them. The 38-car James Bryan is close enough to them as well. And now you can see the Supers are starting to get through the back markers, Marcus.
Yeah, exactly. And with those stroboscopic headlights that are on the Super Mighty Minis.
Yeah, that helps the Mighties to hopefully let them know that quicker cars are coming through.
Exactly. And there is Steve Rideout, ace mechanic, tucking onto the back bumper of Nev Kirkpatrick. Jenkins, though, trying to make a bit of a break. Here's the scrap then for Mighty Minis, and it's Stuart Coombs who leads the way.
Sharabani's going to get mugged here, I think. He made a bit of a mistake through the veil, and it's cost him momentum, and that's all important in Mighty Mini racing, isn't it?
Suddenly 4th, though, in the yellow and black car. Similar in livery to the Britax Cooper Downson works cars back in the 1960s, but not with the stripes over the bonnet. But looking good is Will Burnham. He's left he's timed his challenge rather well after that problem on the opening lap that dropped him well off the pace.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because yesterday, Ollie Samways was just able to, stride out into the distance. Today,
A bit more balanced, I guess.
Yeah.
Suspect balanced out.
Yeah, it's made for a very interesting race, though. It's not been able to get away. Certainly.
Still a quarter of it remaining in.
Yeah, still a long way to go. So down the hangar
Will
straight.
Burnham stealthily creeping up after that drama on the opening lap. The yellow car, number 42, with the black roof on the outside. But here we've got Samways pushing Coombs. Coombs right up behind Sam Slater, who's now ahead in the Mighties. Watch for one of them to lock up. Yes, it's the leader. Locks the rear wheel. It's lightly loaded at that point. Second and third place are pretty much abreast, and now Will Burnham sees that as the opportunity to dive past Stuart Coombs. So Will Burnham, from being pretty much nowhere on the first lap, is now third of the Mighties, and very much within striking distance.
Yeah, and he was third in yesterday's race as well. He's had to do it a slightly harder way today, as we're watching the Super Mighty Minis, which are headed at the moment by Greg Jenkins, who has something resembling a lead building here. 1.2 seconds he was ahead at the end of the previous lap. That looks like it might have come down on this lap. Yes, it has, to 0.7 of a second. So Nev Kirkpatrick reeling him in again. Greg Jenkins with a couple of wins under his belt earlier on this year at Thruxton, and also had a couple of second place finishes at Cadwell Park. 1 second and 1 fourth place finish at Cadwell Park last time out, as Dave Kirkpatrick won both of the races there.
David Kirkpatrick's been just gradually falling back, but maybe just take a bit of a breather. They're all very wily characters. They know these cars inside out. They know the other drivers that are around them, and they know they can trust them to put on a great show. And look at this, another Red Arrows formation sort of arriving here.
All you need is some colourful smoke, and
yes,
the image is complete, isn't it? So it's
Burnham's now second.
He is. Slater, then Burnham, then Samways, and then Coombs, and then I think it's Sharabani in fifth, ahead of James Jenkins, Ben Butler, and James Bryan in this leading octet, as it now is, and they are covered by 2.3 seconds. These 8 cars. So really, it's very close between them. Fantastic racing from the Mighty Minis.
Graham Coombs trying to make some advance up the left-hand side of Ollie Samways, the blue car, but he's now second. Burnham's been shaken back into third momentarily. Coombs will come back at him. He absolutely cannot switch off for a nanosecond in these cars in a battle of this quality and calibre. Coombs comes flying through the inside, puts Burnham back to fourth, and Burnham's now exposed to, I think it's James Jenkins, who's behind him in the pale-coloured car, as they get back to the hangar straight. So Burnham, who was second in class, now finds himself fourth. He's going to try to come around the outside of Graham Coombs at Stowe, which is exactly what up front Ollie Samways is trying to do to unseat Sam Slater. But as they go down into the Vale then, with a couple of laps remaining, they jump on the anchors. There's a little bit of a gap appearing between second and third, but at the moment it's Slater, and down the inside comes Samways. Meanwhile, I think that was Graham Coombs behind. He was out over the curbs. Coombs still under attack from Will Burnham. Burnham in the yellow car. He will, I think, get that place if he keeps his boot in coming up through Abbey. There he is, and it's Samways from Slater, from Burnham, from Coombs, from James Jenkins. Behind James Jenkins is Shakobani, and behind him is maybe Ben Butler's pulled off. Ben Butler's pulled off.
Yeah, he has.
Smokily too.
He has. And these have just gone on to their penultimate lap of the race. The leaders have just started their last lap of the race as well. They have gone through. They have headed down to finish. They're gaining on the group ahead of them. Butler's car is looking a little bit smoky. The marshals are just going to try and get that behind the barrier. We should be seeing the race leaders coming through any moment now. Here they are. Greg Jenkins, it is, on the last lap of the race. He's got a 1.6 second lead. He's got the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:25.748. So he is looking good for the win.
Burnham on the outside in the mighties. He could get this yet. And he comes round. He's got Samways. He's now tucking back. Fourth a lap ago, I think at this point. Having been second in the group, he's back to second. Has he timed his run to perfection?
They're going to have one more lap at the end of this one, though, aren't they? The Mighties, and it's
behind. They've got precious close between the next pair.
It's 3 wide for second place in the Super Mighty Minis, though. It's going to be Greg Jenkins that wins it. He's got a comfortable lead as they come out of Club Corner for the final time. It looks like it's going to be Nev Kirkpatrick that takes second place, an improvement on his fourth place of yesterday. So Greg Jenkins wins, Nev Kirkpatrick second, Steve Rideout third, and David Kirkpatrick, the championship leader, takes fourth. But we could probably now switch to the battle that's still going on amongst the Mighty Minis. It's heading down to the village head for the final time. There's still 8 of them in it. It's Sam Slater with the advantage, but Will Burnham second, and yesterday's winner, Ollie Samways, is third.
And Chakrabarti now, I think, is fourth, isn't he? And then
he is.
Coombs is next up. Then it is James Jenkins.
And Burnham's going to get the lead, is he, as they head towards the link. He's on the inside line there in the yellow car. He was at the back, right at the back of the field on lap 1, and he's in with a sniff of a chance of victory here, Marcus.
Yeah, they're now trying to punch holes in the air, and Burnham's been shaken back into third of those now, and it's here comes Burnham. He's now coming down the inside into Stowe. He cannot even think about lifting. They're 4 wide there momentarily, and Burnham gets through on the inside. Slater tries to go with him. They're 3 abreast behind him, a phalanx of minis as they go around Stowe. This is absolutely unbelievable, but still just ahead. It's Will Burnham, who was right at the back, and he's going to lose the lead, though, going into the corner, and he's going to lose second as well.
Yeah, so it's Slater and Sharabani that have gone through. Burnham was leading. He's down to third place. Samways is going to take third from him as well, I think, is he, as they come through the final corner. But it's going to be Sam Slater that comes through. He finished 8th yesterday. He takes the win today in the Mighty Minis. Second place goes the way of Ahmad Sharabani, as it did yesterday. And Will Burnham, what a roller coaster race that was from him, from 0 to hero, and then third in the end. And Ollie Samways, yesterday's winner, takes fourth. The 8 cars there were separated by 1.5 seconds at the end of that Mighty Mini race.
That was
absolutely fantastic stuff. Really, really enjoyed that. Hope you've enjoyed that, whether you're watching at the circuit or on the live stream. It's been a really tremendous advert for Mighty Mini Racing. Let's have a look at the results then. Greg Jenkins it was that took the win in car number 70 from number 1, Nev Kirkpatrick, in second place. He was 1.4 seconds behind in the end. Third place went the way of number 7, Steve Rideout, ahead of number 10, David Kirkpatrick. And then almost a lap, but not quite a lap behind, the Mighty Minis. First was number 93, Sam Slater. Second was number 77, Ahmad Sharabani. There was about 3 tenths between them. Third was number 42, Will Burnham, but then Samways, Jenkins, Coombs and James Bryan all within 1.5 seconds of Sam Slater. Then the rest of the Mighties were a lap down. Trevor Peters, Tao Butler and Chris Didcott. And then, just heading on to the next page, Claire Jeffries, the Team GB horse rider. She finished next ahead of Morgan Bartley, with Will Tyrrell also a lap down, and Ben Butler and John Jenkins retirements from that race, with Ben Butler's car being towed away beneath us as I speak. So, need to catch our breath after that fantastic race for the Mighty Minis. We will unfortunately not see them back out again later on, but they'll be heading to Croft and Castle Combe before their season is out. And we are going to turn our attention in a few moments to the Race Parts Historic 750 Formula Series, which is a big weekend for 750 Formula. They were here yesterday. Historic 750 Formula here today. It's the 75th anniversary season of the inauguration of 750 Formula back in 1949, and what better way to celebrate that with a really bumper grid of historic 750 Formula cars that we have here this weekend. And then we've got one more race after that to come before the lunch break, which is going to be for the Freaky Part Sports Specials Championship as well. And then this afternoon we'll get this afternoon's racing underway with the 2-hour race for the Tagiwa Club Enduro Championship, of course. So lots to look forward to here at Silverstone throughout the rest of the day. Very shortly we'll be hoping to go down to hear from both our Super Mighty and Mighty Mini Championship winners down there in Parc Fermé. Hopefully we'll be able to hear from both of those with Kieran in a few moments. But for now, we can go down to Kieran now, I think, in pit lane. So let's hear from him now.
Oh, the Minis always give us some good racing, don't they? And I'm here with our Super Mighty Minis winner in Greg Jenkins. Greg, that was a really hectic start there, but at some point in that race, you managed to break away. What's the secret? Because it's not easy to do in these Minis.
I don't know what the secret is. I think I just pushed on the edge of falling off the track just to see how far I could push it. Yeah, I got a break. I did the same yesterday and sort of pulled 3 seconds on everyone, but normally you don't. It doesn't happen around here, and it doesn't happen in the Mini. And it was, yeah, I could see him catching me towards the end, and the Mighty Minis held me up a little bit, but I just had to clear them when I got to them and just hope that they held them up a bit more, and they did.
Yeah, it was about sort of halfway, maybe just beyond. We saw out of the final corner there, once one of those Super Mighty Minis made contact with one of the Mighty Minis. I mean, how difficult was it negotiating their way through?
It can be quite difficult. We do gain on them so fast. We got so much better braking and tyres, and I think, I think one of the guys said he's going to have to go and apologise to one of the Mighty drivers for collecting him. But yeah, it's not our intention, and it's a shame we catch them before the end of the race, really, because otherwise, yeah, sometimes it can spoil a race. It can spoil 2 people's races, but yeah, luckily most of them get out of the way, and it's real good.
It's real good, and I mean, you managed to break away. I'm guessing you were very glad to see the trio behind you battling away, because you knew they'd lose time.
Yeah, I knew they'd hold each other up, and nobody wants to give a position up in this racing. So yeah, when I saw them battling, I thought, well, until they got right onto my tail, and I have to defend more, especially down Hanger Straight where they can draft each other and get up to me. Yeah, it was fantastic just to see that little gap. I was happy.
Congratulations on the victory. Well done, Greg. Go and enjoy it.
Thank you. I will. Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Greg. And we'll see if I can find Sam Slater, who's in car 93. Let's see if I can find Mr. Sam Slater in this sea of vehicles here. He might actually be in there in Parc Fermé, because he might have had that class victory. Let's see. No, this is providing great content, isn't it? Where's the drop? It's like trying to find Wally, isn't it, at the moment? I'll have a quick peek into here, see if I can find the number 93, which is not there. Interesting. It's like Where's Wally, this, isn't it? But I'm not doing very well. Ah, hang on. I'm getting word here. Sam Slater.
No stress.
It's no stress. Here he is. I found it. Oh, see, oh, there we go. Got there at the end. Sam, congratulations. I mean, you were punching the air with delight as you came across the line. 8 cars in that battle. How was that for you?
I mean, to win a race where it's that close, start to finish, you know, and so many changes of the lead, it's just so bittersweet to cross the line in first. But I lost the lead on the second to last lap to probably not the main championship contender, and I was just looking for the other one, thinking as long as I stay second, it's okay. And then he opened the door, so I thought, well, all right, I'll take this win, which I felt like I deserved. And yeah, incredible. Probably the best race I've enjoyed in the Mighty Minis.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just sums it up, really. 8 of you battling away, swapping positions left, right, and centre. And then you had the Super Mighty Minis coming through as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably my fault. I was sticking my elbows out quite a bit and making sure there was no gaps. But I got to admit, we're closing to the end of the season here, so every point counts. And I think that was a best case scenario for me. So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, a race victory, certainly a best case scenario, hey? But
even for points for the other guy, you know, he dropped a few. As much as I love him, he dropped a place at the end there, so I think that helped even more. So yeah, happy days.
Happy days. Well, Sam, congratulations for you. I'll go and let you cool down. Get some water in you.
Yeah, please. I need to wash my hair, I think, because I look like a homeless man now.
Still look better than me, that's for sure.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Sam. Thank you very much. And it's back to the commentary box for the next race.